He sat at the corner table of the city's most elegant restaurant, checking his watch for what felt like the 100th time. Ethan Cole, the 34-year-old CEO of a billion-dollar tech empire, had built his success on precision and control. But tonight, he was nervous. His assistant had convinced him to try a blind date set up by a friend of a friend. "She's a model," they'd said, "beautiful, elegant, your type." Ethan had agreed, mostly out of curiosity. He'd been lonely for far too long, living in a world where people saw his wealth but not his soul. But as he looked at the door, waiting for a glamorous woman to walk in, his heart skipped when a woman in a simple blue dress entered, shy, hesitant, holding a worn-out purse close to her chest. She looked completely out of place in the luxury of the restaurant. Her eyes searched the room nervously until they landed on him. She gave a small, uncertain smile and walked over. "Mr. Cole?" she asked softly. "Hi, broken bar, I'm Grace." Ethan blinked in confusion. This couldn't be right. She wasn't the model he was supposed to meet. There had to be some mistake. But before he could speak, she sat down, clearly anxious. There was a sincerity in her eyes, something pure, something that disarmed him instantly. At first, the conversation was awkward. Ethan asked polite, surface-level questions, expecting the real date to arrive any minute. But as the minutes turned into an hour, something unexpected happened. Grace began to open up about her life, her struggles, her 5-year-old son named Jamie. She told him how she worked 2 jobs, one as a waitress and another cleaning offices, just to make ends meet. She hadn't wanted to come tonight, but her friend insisted she take a break, that she deserved to feel human again, even just for a night. Ethan found himself listening, really listening, for the first time in years. He was used to people talking about business, ambition, and money. But Grace spoke about kindness, about staying hopeful even when life kicked you down. Her words were raw, real, and they hit something deep inside him. He couldn't help but notice how her eyes sparkled when she spoke about her son, how much love and sacrifice were wrapped in every word. She didn't have luxury or status, but she had warmth, and for a man who'd lived surrounded by fake smiles and corporate masks, that warmth felt like sunlight after years of cold. When the bill came, Grace panicked. She reached for her purse quickly, fumbling through the few crumpled bills inside. Ethan gently stopped her hand. "It's all right," he said kindly. "I invited you, I'll take care of it." But she shook her head. "No, I don't want you to think I came here for a free meal. I'll pay my share, please." Ethan was stunned. In his world, people always wanted something from him, money, attention, influence. Yet here she was, with barely enough to cover bus fare home, still insisting on paying her part. That night, when she left, Ethan watched her walk out into the rain, her small frame illuminated by the streetlight. Something in him stirred, something he hadn't felt in years. The next morning, his assistant came rushing into his office. "Sir, there's been a mix-up. The model cancelled last minute, and somehow that Grace woman, she got the wrong message and thought the date was hers." "I'm so sorry." Ethan held up his hand. "Don't be. It was a broken bar, perfect." He couldn't stop thinking about her. The way she smiled despite her struggles. The way she made him forget about board meetings and profits and investors. For the first time, he wanted to know someone not because of what they could offer, but because of who they were. He found her a week later, cleaning the lobby of one of his office buildings. She froze when she saw him, embarrassed. "Oh, Mr. Coley, a broken bar. I didn't know you worked here," she stammered. He smiled gently. "Actually, I own the building." Her eyes widened in shock. She immediately looked down, humiliated. "I'm sorry, a broken bar. I didn't mean to waste your time that night." "I shouldn't have ya." But Ethan interrupted softly. "Grace, you didn't waste my time, you changed it." Over the next few weeks, Ethan kept finding excuses to see her. He'd stop by to bring her coffee, ask about her son, or walk her to the bus stop. Grace resisted at first, afraid that a man like him could never truly understand her world. But Ethan kept showing up, proving that his interest wasn't out of pity or curiosity and was genuine. He met little Jamie one weekend at the park. The boy ran straight into his arms like they'd known each other forever. Grace watched them from the bench, her eyes welling up. For the first time in years, she saw her son laugh like he used to before his father left. As months passed, Ethan and Grace's worlds began to intertwine. He helped her quietly, never making her feel small. He paid off her late rent anonymously, arranged flexible hours at one of his company's branches so she could be with Jamie. And through it all, he never told her how deeply she'd healed him, how she'd shown him the value of love without conditions. But one day, Grace found out who he really was, not just the man who brought her coffee, but the billionaire CEO whose company owned half the city. She felt betrayed. "You lied to me, Ethan," she cried. "I thought you were different, a broken bar, but you're just like everyone else. You have everything, why would you want someone like me?" Ethan's voice broke. "Because you made me remember what being human feels like. You don't see my money and you see me. That's something no one's done in years." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "And what if I can't give you the kind of life you're used to?" He stepped closer, taking her hands gently. "Then I'll learn to live yours." Months later, they stood at the same restaurant where it all began, only this time, Grace wasn't nervous. Jamie sat at the next table, giggling as the waiter brought out the small cake with his name on it. Ethan raised the toast, his voice warm and steady. "To the best mistake that ever happened," he said, smiling at Grace. She laughed, eyes glistening. "To the man who thought he was meeting a model but found a mother instead." They both laughed softly, not because it was funny, but because it was true.